Then this next video is going to be the continuation of If by Rudyard Kipling, and basically I'll just read out the couple lines and I'll discuss it. So the next lines are: If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. Now we'll start with the neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you. So being hurt by people sucks. And so the best thing to do is not to get hurt. And since you really can't change the way people behave, you can a little bit by changing your behavior towards them. You can. I've always thought that one superpower that people have is you can actually control other people's behavior. You're not going to sit there and like treat them like a marionette, but you can you have a lot of influence over other people just by your face, how you treat them, how you address them, how you the language you use towards them. Um, but I was just focused on the friends part. Is that friends can say they can do things to you that matter to you a lot. Because their opinion of you and the way they behave towards you matters a lot. These people are important to you for a reason. We like them because we have the same values. We want the same things. We want good things for them. We want good things for ourselves. This. I mean, basically the summation of this is Book 8 by Aristotle. Aristotle's Ethics is basically about friendships. There are three types of friendships. There's sort of business friendships where you can be friendly with a client or coworker or your boss, but friendship kind of stays with the work. Once it's quitting time, the friendship kind of disappears, and then you come back. If it's a client of yours, just whenever they come into the shop or when they have a project they want you to work on, you can still be friendly. You can still, as long as you know that that's there and you don't think that you're being best friends, it doesn't seem to matter that much. There's another one. It's like sort of proximal friends where these are people who, these might be your neighbors, or uh, if you have a club or an activity, they might be there. And so you can chat with them. It's a little bit stronger than work because you actually have similar values. So, say, for example, I do judo, so I might be friends with people at judo, but the relationship kind of revolves around judo. And the moment one of us gets injured, like that's it, and or at least it's not. You don't really want to say that outright, but it's kind of true. Um, on the other hand, like I think that it gets a little bit more intense if your activity or your hobby is kind of values based. Say, for example, you go to church. I'm not a church attender. Or congregationalist, or no, that's more probably of a denomination. But anyway, if you attend a church, you're there because you have the same values as each other, presumably. And then there's the third level, which is like the really deep, proper friendships where you spend a lot of time together because you value the same things. You might have a similar philosophy. You see each other quite a lot, and you're deeply invested in each other's lives. Um, and the thing is, when something goes wrong, as you go up the ladder, so you start off at sort of work and then maybe proximal friendships. These might be friendships you had when you were a kid as well. I remember my friend from high school or whatever. And it just sort of fizzled out because you were only friends because you were in the same classes or you lived in the same neighborhood. And, people disperse after school. And So the thing is that if you go up that ladder, you'll find that the opinion of these people matter more. And so when they have a bad opinion of you, or you have a falling out, it hurts more. And so you basically have to understand why this conflict is happening. And the thing is that friends know more about you because you've told them a lot. You spent a lot of time with each other. You know about them, they know about you. So you have a lot of evidence or goods or a lot of knowledge about them that you could use to hurt them if you chose to do that, which is not really a friendly thing to do, but it happens. And often these are sort of difference of opinion. Your friends might not agree on everything. Some kind of conflict can lead to this falling out, and you basically have to sort of immunize yourself from that aspect. As far as the foe part is concerned, you can do things, the foes can do things to you because they don't really have any infection for you. They don't have this, thing in the back of their mind telling them not to be an asshole to you. In fact, they might actually have a lot of hatred for you. Well, it's in the word foe, right? This is your enemy. They hate you. They don't like you. They have a lot of antipathy for you. However you want to say it. It's your view of the world, and what's to you, what's good, what's bad, your religion, your philosophy, your just how you do laundry, right? They have a completely different way of viewing the world. In fact, your view of the world is completely at odds with theirs. And they don't care that they hurt you. In fact, they might actually think it's good that they hurt you because they're scoring points against the enemy. They might actually some kind of social equivalent of getting a medal for hurting you. Now, I think some people hurt each other, besides friends and foes. I think people often hurt each other because of some misunderstanding. They're not speaking the same language as one another. And so when you feel hurt by somebody, you think, well, is this real or is this imagined? Maybe I should sort of clarify what's being said before I start taking offense or start feeling hurt. But, even then you shouldn't feel hurt. You should feel confident that you're correct. But as we said earlier in the poem, make allowances for their doubting too. Maybe you did step on their toes and you just didn't know it. You were careless or you just didn't know. Make sure you cover all your bases before you start, wondering why you are having a falling out with your friend. So the next part is, if all men count with you, none too much. Now, this is sort of the flip side with this, is that, don't let people who are very close to you hurt you. And on the other hand, get close enough to people that they matter. Just don't get too close, right? So in the sense, people do matter, right? You just can't walk outside and think of people as just wallpaper in your life, or just background music. Like when you're at the supermarket, they might play music and you're just like, oh, well, it's just something to ignore or something to have to deal with. Everybody that if you go outside, they have they're on a mission, or they're on vacation, or they just got in a bad breakup, or their boss hates them, or they just got a promotion. People matter, their dreams, their goals, their values, what's important to them, they matter. And so I think if you have respect for them, these are more the anonymous people in your life. And the thing is, if you get to know them, if you respect them, if you approach them, as I said before, in a way that's very conducive to a positive response, you might spark a friendship. I have done that. Just by saying something goofy, a friendship starts, Or, if you're in a bad mood, you might be throwing away somebody in your life and you don't even know it. People surprise you all the time. I mean, talk to people. The thing is, for a long time, I found people were boring, and you might think the same thing about me. I think if you scratch the surface with people, you'll find there's something good about them. There's something interesting about them. Even the most boring person in the world is going to be interesting. And I find that fascinating. Some people, you just think, what a... But maybe they're reluctant to say anything, or maybe they don't know how to say anything, or maybe they don't know what other people find interesting, or maybe they just don't know how to talk to you, and so they're just sort of driveling on and on and on about something, and they just don't have a clue that that's not the thing you should be talking about. You should be talking about something else. So, for as far as these videos are concerned, I'm mostly done with this. If you don't like this, just move on. I've got other stuff on here that I've talked about, but this is hardly a conversation. This is sort of a half conversation, the versation, right? So it's not the con with. I talk to people, and sometimes I was just like, I wouldn't have figured this guy right here would have that kind of story. Or that's what's good about I haven't been to a bar here in America since I left. In England, you can go to a pub, sit there, and then suddenly you're in a conversation with somebody that I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that your job was a job. I didn't even think about anything that you would do, and I actually find it interesting. But on the other hand, with this, so all men count with you. Your friends and your family, obviously, they count with you, but not too much, none too much, right? So I wouldn't put all my energies, all my soul into one person. I think people make a mistake when they feel like they have like friendship goals, where you see this particularly with children because they don't know any better. And their whole world is just their class. And so they have to be friends with somebody who everybody else thinks is cool. And they don't realize that, first of all, it doesn't matter. I don't remember but let's say third grade, right? So third grade, you're about 8 years old. I don't remember anybody's name from third grade. So it shows you how important that actually was. However, I would say just don't set people goals. Don't say I have to be friends with X. I have to do what this person thinks is cool or good, or I'd stop vying for people's approval. I would say find out what you approve of, and then sort of build your team around yourself with people who fit your plan or your system or your values. And then that filters out a lot of things, because even if you make friends with the cool kid in the class, you might find out that this is an 8-year-old child who doesn't have anything to say. It's just kind of a whim. Either dad has a cool job, or he has a cool toy, or it's something like it's just in the air that this kid's popular this month. Really, this is probably something worth investigating. Those days are over for me, obviously, but I think the moment that people matter to you too much, you start building your world around other people's opinion rather than building your world around people who fit your world. I guess that's a bit tautological, but I mean, like, put people in your life that fit your worldview and fit your lifestyle, fit your personality. Like, there's some people I agree with a lot. I just think, like, I don't think we'd be friends. I agree with you on everything. You're annoying. It's like, or something like that, or you're an asshole, but God damn, your politics are right on. Something like that. So anyway, that's about all of that. So we'll move on to the next video. So I'll see you over there soon. Bye.